I'm Matt Bishar with NAREIT's REIT.com here in Reston, Virginia for the 2015 Leader in the Light Working Forum. Joining me today is Cliff Majersik, Executive Director for the Institute for Market Transformation. Cliff, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, can you start by telling us about your group's mission and how it applies to the REIT industry?
Our mission is to advance energy efficiency in the built environment. And so, of course, because REITs have a lot of buildings, we're very interested in working with REITs. We want to empower REITs to use best practices to save energy in their own buildings, to be an example to other players in the real estate industry, and hopefully drive improved building energy performance across the entire built environment.
And what are some of the biggest market failures that inhibit investment in energy efficiency and sustainability in the real estate sector?
One of the big ones is the split incentives problem, or the principal agent problem, which is that different players have different roles in making buildings efficient. The landlord, the tenant, the building operator, the construction of the building are all very important to how that building actually performs in operations. And yet, often, say, tenants pay a lot of the energy bills, the landlord may feel a diminished incentive to make that building more energy efficient. Or if a building is built on spec, the builder isn't going to occupy the building, it's going to be bought before the building is ever operated. They may have a diminished incentive to deliver a building that will actually perform well in operations. So trying to align the incentives of all the players so that everybody comes out ahead when the building is more energy efficient is a big part of what we do. And one example of that is something like green leasing, where you have win-win leases where the landlord and the tenant are both rewarded fairly for making the building more green, more energy efficient, using less water.
And what are some of the regulatory changes in the works that could prompt investment in this area, and what more would you like to see done?
Well, one of the big ones that's already well underway is increased benchmarking and transparency requirements. So cities around the country, there are now 10 cities, 1 county, 2 states that have benchmarking and transparency requirements that apply to privately owned buildings. And the idea is that you can't manage what you don't measure. The market needs information. Information is the lifeblood of any market. And traditionally, the market hasn't had information about energy efficiency of buildings, so it hasn't been fully valued when a tenant is choosing what building to rent in, when an investor is choosing what building to buy. And as a consequence, there's been an underinvestment in energy efficiency, not as much attention to energy efficiency in building operations as you could have if you had full transparency. So these transparency requirements are picking up steam. More and more cities are adopting them. Increasingly, it feels like this is what the leading edge cities are doing, and if you want to be a leading city, you need to do this. And so once you've reached that sort of tipping point, we expect to see a lot more of those policies in place.
Cliff, thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.
For more on this and other REIT news and analysis, be sure to visit REIT.com.